Aloha, beautiful souls. Welcome to A Better World with Adrienne. We are here for another deep dive episode, and today's episode is 11 paths to inspiration, creativity, and sparking your own spark, igniting your own spark. I was guided to this topic because yesterday I was really I have so many ideas all the time for the podcast. I have so many ideas I want to share with my clients. I have so many ideas I want to share with the world. And I know this is a superpower for me. And I actually was experiencing I have so many ideas. I have so many powerful ideas that I was kind of at a standstill of what is my podcast going to be? What's my podcast going to be on this week? What do I want to share on? And I just allowed myself to table it, to not force myself to decide in that moment. And I just leaned into things that I always know bring me to inspiration, things that I always know bring me to creativity, things that I always know ignite my own spark. And the reason I'm making this podcast is because if you are a visionary, if you're a leader, if you are a spiritual being that's here to create a dream and make a contribution for New Earth, that's part of a better world, you are a creator. And inspiration is your job. Creativity is your job. Being able to ignite your own spark is your job, because relying on things outside of you is a fool's errand. And I say that with love. We look at the world, and if we were to be living in a space where we're at the mercy of everything around us as the reason why we can or cannot do things, then we would never make anything. We would always be stuck. We would always be stagnant. We would always be recreating the past. But the core of the human spirit, the core of your spirit and your soul is creativity, is joy, is expansion, is growth, is learning. And I'm just smiling bigger and bigger and bigger every single part and piece that I say. And so today's episode is 11 pathways to get you back into that expansive inner child creation, joyful state. So I'm really excited for you. I was just noticing this challenge within myself. And it wasn't that I don't have ideas. I was like, okay, which one? And then I was like, you know, it's going to make more sense as I share the episode, but I'm sharing on this challenge. I'm sharing on this choice point where people are like, what do I want to create? I don't feel inspired. I don't have an idea, or maybe I have too many ideas. What happens when my spark is gone? Do I just not have a spark? Or do I ignite my own spark? The spoiler alert, the answer is you ignite your own spark. And I'm going to get into how. So let's dive in. Before we go full channel mode, let us call upon the altar. Fun, exciting fact, I am bringing a guest on the podcast soon, and this is the person who inspired me making altars for every single podcast. And so I'm not going to shout them out until they're on here as a guest, but I'm really, really excited to bring her on the podcast. So the altar is saying thank you in advance. Thank you in advance to Spirit. We set the stage for all of the codes to blast through. And on the altar today, we have an unscented white candle burning, purifying the space, calling in all healed ancestors, guides, angels. We have Ganesha, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, the remover of obstacles. I have my gold Ganesha statue. It is Leo season after all, as I'm recording. I am a Leo sun, and gold is the color of Leo, the divine child, the royalty of the zodiac. I have 2 bouquets of flowers on the altar today. I have a purple and green bouquet. The colors are purple, yellow, white, green, pink, fuchsia, and a dark black sunflower. And I also have 3 gorgeous yellow, beautiful sunflowers on the altar. And flowers are some of the most high frequency living creatures that exist. They expand the heart chakra. And we also have Venus, the planet of love, beauty, art, and money, entering Virgo the day that I am recording this. And so our love, beauty, art, and money is expanded when we tap into Virgo frequency. Virgo is the priestess, is the alchemist, is excellence, is devotion, is health and wellness. Okay. So Virgo is mutable earth. It is the daily actions that create change in the 3D in deep communion with Mother Earth. So Venus and Virgo is on our altar today as well. And our final piece of our altar is taking 3 deep breaths together, representing mind, body, and spirit, that this podcast is different than other podcasts. It is a transmission. This is my offering to the collective, and may this bless you. May this bless me, bless all of us. No matter what you're doing, allow your shoulders to relax. If you can close your eyes, close your eyes. If you keep them open, keep them open. Inhale through your nose. Exhale out the mouth. Inhale through your nose. Breathe specifically into your heart space, allowing any armor that's been up around your heart to dissipate, to open, to dispel. Exhale out the mouth. And final one, inhale through the nose. Hold at the top, feel a golden yellow light of the sun hovering above your crown chakra, cracking over your whole body. As you are holding this breath, it has started to rain where I am recording. The wind is blowing, it is picking up, and rain has entered our altar and the suspended breath, letting you know that your life is being purified, cleansed. Rain is a sign of a new beginning. And so keep holding your breath. Allow yourself to be suspended in time. Allow yourself to be suspended with spirit. Exhale out the mouth. Gently flutter open your eyes. If you close them, allow yourself to come back to this time, this day, this space, this location, this podcast. And let's begin. You can't make that up, my loves. It literally started downpouring while we connected our last piece of energy and life force together. Life force energy being the breath, right? Wow. Wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Spirit. This is going to be powerful. So, as I was saying in the intro, I'm making this podcast because there's so many people that struggle with inspiration, with creativity, and really igniting their own spark. And inspiration is your job. Joy is your job. You know, there is a myth, there is a lie going around that because there's suffering on the planet, you know, we can't be joyful. It's selfish to be joyful. And here's the thing. The world needs your joy more than ever. The world needs your creativity more than ever. The world needs your spark more than ever. Your shine and your spark and your big, bold, bright light does not hurt others. It paves a pathway for them. It paves a pathway for them. So this is part of your job, your sacred assignment, and yes, it gets to be fun. This is 11 different pathways I'm going to be sharing that I channeled. And basically what I experienced yesterday is I had so many different ideas and I was just waiting for the perfect one to crystallize because I always have ideas and then I'm like, okay, I'm going to get a very direct message about what is the correct timing, what is the correct one, what do people need to hear right here, right now in this moment in time. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to go on a walk. And as soon as I went on a walk, as soon as I was in nature, as soon as I was moving my body, it all dropped in through my crown chakra. And I channeled these 11 pathways to inspiration, creativity, and igniting your own spark. Okay. So these are 11 different pathways to finding your inspiration, finding your creativity. You are a natural creator. Your natural state is creativity. Your natural state is inspiration. To be inspired is to be in union with your inner child for the wonder of life. It's to be in deep union. You feel something. You feel something so deeply that you're going to do something about it. That's what inspiration is. You feel something so deeply, you can't not do something about it. And then the inner spark, it's the spark within you. It's that fire, it's that passion, it's that drive. Okay. So this episode is for you if you ever struggle with inspiration, if you ever struggle with creativity, and if you ever struggle with like, where's my spark? I lost my zest for life. I lost my spark. I'm exhausted. I'm this. I'm that. Okay. Here are your 11 pathways. So as you listen to this, I want you to just really jot down or make a note which ones speak to you the most and focus on those. Because here's the thing, you are 1,000% meant to be inspired, creative, and in your spark every day. Are there going to be moments that you fall out of that? Yes, because we live in a polar universe. There's going to be dark moments. Like I've been sharing a lot on the podcast. Okay, I've been moving through a lot of grief. Leaving Maui was exciting and it was also really hard. And no, I didn't leave permanently. However, it was unexpected and hard. I still found my creativity. I still found my joy. I still found my inspiration. And if possible, it sparked me more than ever, this transition. So here you go, the 11 pathways to inspiration, creativity, and igniting your own spark. Okay, pathway number 1, create the conditions and honor the office hours. So inspiration is not something that you do or do not have. It's something you create. Creativity is not something you do or do not have. It's something you create. All right. Igniting your own spark is not something you do or do not have. It's something you create. So you create the conditions for it and you honor the office hours. So I have time blocks every single day for writing, for doing podcasts, for stream of consciousness journaling. Like I have space built into my life and calendar for creativity and for inspiration. And this all ignites my spark. So, and I honor these office hours. One prime example is Sacred Saturday. Every single Saturday, ever since 2019, 5 years, y'all, I haven't missed a Sacred Saturday. Why? Because I keep my promises to myself. And this is important office hours. I get my best downloads in Sacred Saturday. I get my best ideas. I get my best inspiration, I get my creativity. And inspiration doesn't always need to be like, okay, I'm going to write down like 7 business ideas and figure out my next 3 books. Sometimes inspiration is, I'm going to go off the grid. I'm going to go to the ocean. I'm going to eat a nice bar of chocolate. I'm going to meander through stores. I'm going to bump into an old friend and, accidentally spend 5 hours with them shooting the shit around the campfire I didn't know I'd be at. Like all of that stuff is, I create the space for that. I create the conditions for that, and I honor the office hours. So it's office hours with your soul and office hours with spirit and the divine, right? So that's the first pathway. You must create the conditions for inspiration, creativity, and igniting your own spark, and you must honor the office hours that you have created. If you create the conditions but don't honor them, then you didn't actually create the conditions. Okay? Second thing, surround yourself with beauty. Your whole life is an altar and a ceremony. If you are not surrounded by beauty, how do you expect to make beautiful things? How do you expect to be the embodiment of beauty? If you're not surrounded by beautiful things that inspire you, how do you expect to be inspiring, to be creative, to make beauty that you came here to make? It's just like the quote, you are the sum total of the 5 people you spend the most time with, right? Surround yourself with beauty. And that means you. Wear clothes that make you feel beautiful. Get flowers for your desk. Do you need to live on Maui or any of these like hot destination places? No, like you can be inspired and have beauty everywhere. There's different kind of beauty and you're responsible for it. So do you have an altar in the place that you do your work at? Right? That's why, we set an altar at the beginning of this podcast. If I'm trying to make a beautiful offering to humanity and I don't have beauty, it really dims what's possible here. And it sets the stage. And if you're not inspired, I guarantee you can level up the beauty in your life. If you're not feeling creative, if you don't feel a spark, you got to level up the beauty in your life. Well, how you have beauty on your body, how you have beauty in your surroundings, whether it's nature, whether it's things, depending on your astrology, it's going to be different for you. For me, being Venus ruled as a Taurus rising and Venus ruled, it's extremely, extremely important. So that's the second pathway. Third pathway or idea, inspiration won't always strike. Commitment will. And here's the thing, action creates inspiration. People are like, who inspires you? And I'm like, I inspire myself. I inspire myself through how I live, through how I move, through how I show up to my commitments again and again and again and again and again and again. Action creates inspiration. If you're waiting around for inspiration, it'll never happen. And what precedes action? Commitment. You want to be inspired? This is your pathway, committed action. And then creativity is going to happen. Because once you start moving, you're going to get ideas, you're going to get results, you're going to be like, oh, and then I do this and this and this, and this feels like a yes, and this feels like a no, and oh, here we go, we're playing in the playground of life and creation, right? Okay, pathway number 4, discover your tried and true channeling portals to the divine and access them consistently. Okay, so you are going to have, just like me, tried and true channeling portals to the divine. And you must do them consistently. For me, this is breath work. I always get downloads during breath work for ideas, for things I'm meant to do in my life, whether it's for my business, my relationship, my personal self, my health, like all of this stuff comes through breath work, which is an access point to my soul and the divine, which is the same thing. Your soul is the divine and the divine is your soul, right? It's just the you shape of God, right? My name is Adrienne. I am the Adrienne version of God in human form and Mother God. So I have a whole other podcast coming about Mother God and healing from religion. So stay tuned, folks. Discover your tried and true channeling portals to the divine. So for me, mine is breath work, movement, nature, EFT tapping, astrology, studying my obsessions. Okay. Those are all pathways to the divine and channeling. All right. So if you even think about how this podcast came through, right? I was in a space of like, I had so many ideas. I was almost like analysis paralysis because I was like, I literally have so many ideas and they're all really fucking good. Which one am I gonna do? And then guess what? I'm doing a totally new idea because I said, you know what? I'm just gonna go on a walk. Walks always help. And it wasn't like I went on a walk where it was like, I'm going on this walk to figure out my whole life and you're like gripping it, right? It wasn't that. It was like, you know what? I'm just going to release. I'm going to unclench. I'm just going to go on a walk. And I was like, I'm going to make it, no music, no podcasts. And I just walked and I put my phone in my pocket on airplane mode because I was like, if anything comes through, I just want to be able to record it, right? Literally within 3 minutes, all of these 11 things came channeling through my crown chakra, and I was writing them as I walked barefoot on the earth. So I combined two of my channeling portals, nature and movement, right? That's pathway number 4. Pathway number 5. What would your inner child do? Do that. A pathway to your power most oftentimes shows up in the form of a question. Okay. And then your answer reveals the path. What would your inner child do? Do that. Okay. Your inner child is the most powerful, potent part of you that exists. Okay. Your inner child doesn't believe. They know. They have big, audacious dreams. They don't dim their light. They shine. They go all out. They're not like gently walking towards what kind of makes them excited. They are running full out toward their biggest, boldest dream. Okay. Literally, I've been spending more time with my nieces than ever in my whole life, and it's like the best. And they're teaching me so much about my inner child. And my niece, Kinsley, she, like every outfit she wears, I'm like, I want your outfit. It's like bright purple tie-dye leggings, and she has these necklaces that are like huge gems, and they're all just like these big gaudy gems and colors. And I'm like, you rock. Like, you rock. And it's like, what would your inner child do? Do that. Children are creative. Children are inspired. They're in awe with life. They have their spark. What happens to us when we age? We deny our spark. Things happen in our lives that make us not believe. Adults do and say and behave in certain ways where we are programmed that our creativity hurts others, that our inspiration is too much. Oh, don't be too much. Don't be too loud. Don't be too joyful. Oh, don't be too happy. I could do a whole podcast on the war on happy people. A lot of people say that I'm, toxic positive. It's like, actually, I'm just really fucking happy. If you really knew me, you would know that I sob and weep about the world like at least a couple times a week. And because I do that, my joy factor is all the way up. But it's really the full wattage of being human. If you numb your creativity and your inner child, you're numbing everything in life. So this pathway is a question. What would your inner child do? Do that. Do it now. Do it big. Do it bold. Do it bright, baby. Okay, pathway number 6. Be willing to disappoint everyone except these two people. You ready for it? Your inner child. So the little, find a picture of you when you were a kid. Do not be willing to disappoint them, and do not be willing to disappoint the person, the old version of you on their deathbed. Disappoint everyone else besides those two people. Okay, that is a pathway to your creativity, to your inspiration, and to your spark. Because if you just lived your life only trying to please those two people, I actually heard this through Manifestation Babe 2 days ago. And I was like, wow, that's really, really true. And this is a pathway to your inspiration and your creativity because you will always feel inspired if you're only trying to please your inner child and the old version of you on their deathbed. The inner child that's like, are you making them proud, living your biggest dreams? You on your deathbed, are you giving them good stories to tell? And are you making them have no regrets? Right? You will always feel inspired, creative, and have your spark if you tapped into those two things, two versions of you. Okay, pathway number 7, have more fun. Can you change the world? Can you change your life? Can you change the face of humanity and have fun at the same time? Abso-fucking-lutely, and I say it's required. If we're not having fun, it's not going to last. All right? Brute force and tenacity and challenge and struggle are definitely part of it, but if you're not having fun from the core, like, "Oh my gosh, my work is so fun," like kids don't do stuff that's not fun. All right? And it's not about being childish and being like, "Okay, this part's not fun, so I'm not going to do it," right? Setting boundaries is not always fun. Cleaning my house is not always fun, but guess what? I feel really good when it's done, and guess what I do? I make it more fun. Oh, I blast music. Oh, I dance. Oh, I burn a candle. Oh, I do all these things to make it more fun, okay? So have more fun. If your creative process, if your life, if your days, if your moments are not fun, make them fun, and you will automatically be more creative. You will automatically be more relaxed. You will automatically be more inspired. You will automatically reignite your own spark. It's supposed to be fun. Life is supposed to be fun and joyful and magical. So whatever's coming to mind, whatever hang up, challenge, thing in your life you're moving through, have more fun. If you can't make it fun, don't do it. If you can't make it fun, don't do it. There's a lot of things in my life that I have said no to. And no is different than quitting. Quitting is, oh, something's challenging me and I'm choosing to be a coward and quit and not become the version of myself that my dreams are requiring me to be, right? Saying no means this is a no for my soul. And if you have questions about boundaries and the word no, go listen to my recent episode. It's called To Have and to Hold Boundaries 101. If you can't make it fun, don't do it. So there's been relationships. I can't make this fun because it's a no for my fucking soul. My soul is being assaulted in this relationship. That's a no. I can't make it fun, so I don't do it. All right. Now, there's certain things for my business where, okay, taxes, for example, right? Taxes, your girl doesn't love taxes. I don't like the fact that my tax dollars are literally paying for a genocide right now. Okay, but I run a business. I run a business in the US. It's my sole business. It's my sole purpose. It's literally resourcing me for an amazing life and filling my cup so I can keep pouring out to the world like this podcast. Like this podcast is free, right? This podcast is fucking free. Do you think that I would be able to do that if I didn't make money with my clients or do things like taxes? Okay. I make taxes fun. When I'm gathering, like, is it like, it honestly, it is inspiring to me because, one year I owed over 20,000. Yeah, that's pretty normal now, owing more than $20,000 in taxes. And there's times in my life where I didn't even make $20,000 in a year. And I'm like, wow, this is actually really inspiring. I owe the amount in taxes more than what I used to make in a year. Literally, what the fuck? What the fuck? And so what do? I make it more fun. I bedazzle it, right? Because it's a unsexy, annoying, like task that's part of my sole purpose. And I don't feel like getting arrested, right, for not doing it. So I make it more fun. right? Bedazzle it, make it Technicolor, do it all. Whatever you're doing, make it more fun. And that will lead you to inspiration, creativity, and your own spark reigniting. Okay, pathway number 8. Start at the daily foundations of your life. If you don't feel inspired, if you're not feeling creative, if you feel like your spark's gone, you need to go back to the basics. Are you sleeping? Are you drinking water? Are you prioritizing your physical health? Something that's been coming up a lot with my clients is the idea of physical health. Literally your health and wellness, literally your workouts, literally your nutrition. And it comes down to boundaries and habits. If you are putting poison in your body, don't expect to be inspired. Don't expect to be creative. Don't expect to have a spark and a zest for life, because you're literally poisoning your temple. So there's a quote where it's like, a wealthy person has 100 dreams. No, it's a healthy person has 100 dreams. A sick person has one. And it's like the moment you take away someone's health, you realize just how important it is. The moment you get sick, the moment you can't do the things you want to be doing, like when you don't have your health, you have nothing. You have nothing. That's like the root chakra. That's the basic foundations. So if you are not feeling inspired or creative or have your spark, you need to go back to the foundations of physical health and wellness. Sleep, water, nutrition, movement, all of that stuff. I can't tell you how much this is coming up for my clients. And then when they shift it, because of the deep work we do together, they're like, I've never felt more clear. I've never felt more inspired. I've never had so many soul-aligned clients just come into my field. I'm like, yeah, your health affects everything. You can't out-manifest your physical health because your body is the house for your soul. And it affects your mind, it affects your spirit, it affects your nervous system, it affects everything. So that's a pathway for you. Number 9 pathway, you must up-level your community and the input you allow in your life. So I'm going to be really real with you. The community that you need to get to the next level is not a free community. Every single soul-aligned client I've ever had, every single soul-aligned business collaboration, every single true spiritual friend that can inspire me in going for my biggest, boldest dreams. Every single mentor I've hired has come by way of a paid community. Why? Because people who are on the path of growth, people who are out here creating, people who are out here in inspiration, people who are out here living lives from the spark in their heart, they pay to get in rooms of other powerful people growing. They pay to be in rooms that inspire them. They pay to be in rooms that activate their creativity. They pay to have amazing mentors. They pay to be in masterminds. They pay to be in memberships. Like literally, I was thinking about it and I had this major aha. I was like, all of my clients I've met in paid containers or like once removed from a paid container, right? My highest paying clients, I have met that, like one of them, Vanessa, who actually was featured on this podcast, her and I met in breathwork teacher training together. We both invested thousands of dollars in that training. So what did we automatically have in common? We both were willing to invest in our own personal growth and get in rooms of powerful people to change. That automatically separates the kind of psyche you're around. And remember, you are the sum total of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And then what you allow in your psyche, in your mind, in your spirit is so deeply important, my love. If you are consuming toxic news, there's no wonder you don't feel creative, and there's no wonder you don't feel inspired. There's no wonder you feel like you've lost your spark. You have to be really disciplined about what you allow in your life, and you can't be hanging around low vibration community. This was something that I really learned a lot about on Maui, because, there was, when I moved there, I knew I was supposed to be there, like all of this just like deep knowing in my soul. And there's a really big unknown that happens when you move somewhere you've never been. And this was the most spiritual place I've ever been, like deeply embedded into the culture was like profound spirituality from the Hawaiian culture and the people that live on island that I had never experienced before in my life. Like in Chicago, I was this like undercover mystic, and nobody really, saw that side of me. I mean, my mindful music clients did, but I really didn't, you know, there wasn't really that community in Chicago for me. When I went to Maui, there was all kinds of spiritual community. However, what I discovered very, very, very quickly was that a lot of it was based in the broke healer paradigm. A lot of it was based in lack of responsibility. A lot of it was based in complacency. A lot of it was based in love and light. I'm just going to go with the flow. And it was literally so disturbing and so infuriating to me, because it was all of these people with a and they wouldn't do a damn thing about it. And it made me so mad, because I would just witness this potential and what I know the world needs just be honestly deeply, deeply disrespected. And so I really learned, even at a deeper level, the importance of community and the importance of paid community. And, people will say what they want to say about this, but it's I can't think of one person that I've met that I've either hired as a mentor, had as a client, collaborated with, where there hasn't been some kind of monetary exchange to be in a room of inspiration, creativity, and living from a different kind of spark than most of the world. Based in growth, based in contribution, based in spiritual ascension. This is really, really important. So if you are not inspired, you got to up-level your community. If you don't feel creative, up-level your community. And no, don't go join a free Facebook group, because those have so much, doing something free isn't going to change your life. It won't. You've got to have skin in the game. And if you want a room of people that are actually going to elevate you, it's got to be paid, because the people that play big pay for rooms that are exclusive, because they don't want to be in a room with all of that victim energy. They don't want to be in a room with all of that low vibration energy. They are willing to pay to get into the powerful rooms of inspiration, creation, and the spark. So, whether it's a mastermind, whether it's with me or not, love, there's two ways you can get in a room with me right now to up-level all of this. First, Angel Air, my brand new membership, Astrology Transmissions Daily, a private Telegram group, exclusive breathwork journeys and calls and all of this stuff. Or you can be my one-on-one client. But it's really, really important that it's paid. And a lot of people won't say that. A lot of people have problems with that, but it's like, free shit shows you what's possible. You want to actually change your life, you got to pay. And people think that the only time you pay is when you like pay money for something. People don't realize that you pay a price every day that you scroll online mindlessly. You're giving away your most powerful resources to actually have negative input in your life. So, something to ponder for everyone. All right. 10, the 10th pathway to your inspiration, creativity, and igniting your own spark. Make what your previous self needed and what your heart really loves. Okay? What did your previous self need? Go make it. Be inspired by your own story. Be inspired by your own pain. Be inspired by your own challenge, okay? And turn that challenge into the greatest gift you have for humanity. I know there are things you haven't told anyone about that you've transmuted, that you've transcended. This holds the codes to some of your most deep, potent creation, inspiration, and medicine for the world. So if you're ever stuck in a spot where you're like, I don't know what, okay, do what your heart really loves. If it's not true for you, that's probably why it's not working, or why it used to work and it's not working anymore, because it's not true for you anymore. You know, this happened to me with mindful music, and it was deeply disorienting to me because I love mindful music. I still love it. And yet there came a day where I was like, there's more. I'm not supposed to be this, I'm not supposed to be stuck in this one box, right? I'm here to serve the leaders. I'm here for this, you know? And so there became a time where, and if you really want to listen to that full story, go to my episode. It's called Relentless Intuition, Moving to Maui, where I show really the behind the scenes of that whole process. But shit in my life stopped working. Why? Because it wasn't true for me anymore. And I had done so much healing that I got to a point where I could no longer override my body like I used to. And that moment is a celebration. And it's also deeply disorienting. So here's the question you can ask for this pathway. It's not, the question isn't what can you make? All right. The question is, what can't you not make? What's the thing that you literally cannot sleep without making it? That you literally cannot die without making it? What's the thing that keeps you up at night? What's the thing that you're like, this matters? This fucking matters because of my story. This matters because of my lived experience, of what I see in the world. What's the thing that you can't not make? For me, that's happening. I'm doing a throat chakra clearing for women. This is something I can't not make because there's too many women out here, spiritual women, scared to be seen in their full power because they've been killed in past lives through speaking. And so what are we going to do? We're going to clear that shit because we need your voice. That's something I couldn't not make. I literally couldn't sleep until I made the landing page. What is that for you? Okay. By the way, link in bio. Or not link in bio, link in the show notes. You can come to the throat chakra clearing class a la carte for 111, or when you join Angel Air, it's automatically included in the membership, baby. Angel Air is like the Charlie's Angels hotline of fellow Earth angels you did not know you needed. Okay. And it's your all access pass basically to all of my single master classes. So yeah, it's lit and you should be there. Okay, here's the last pathway to your inspiration, your creativity, and igniting your own spark. You ready? You ready? You ready? You ready? You ready? Remember that you're going to die one day. YOLO this shit. YOLO this shit, my love. You're going to die one day. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. The next breath isn't guaranteed. I don't know what's going to light your own spark more than that. If you really, really, really allowed that to soak into your bones, that there's no guarantee, what would you do? Who would you be? What would you say yes to? What would you say no to? What would you create? The things that you thought were mundane immediately become magical. The things you complained about immediately become the deepest source of gratitude. Okay. This is important. This is important. I'm so glad I did this episode. I'm so glad I went on my walk, and I would love to hear from you. Which one of these 11 pathways stick out to you? Which one of these 11 pathways are you going to really lean into in accessing your own inspiration, your own creativity, your own igniting your own spark? Because this is all your job. This is your sacred assignment, and I want you to jump out of your seat, grab it with zest, with joy, with abandon, with wild, audacious zest. And know that this is up to you. It's not up to anybody else. It's you, boo. It's you. And these are 11 pathways, and 11 is the portal. And this episode is actually coming out during the Lionsgate Portal Week in August of 2024. So this week that this episode is dropping, we are at the beginning of one of the most intense astrological months of all of 2024. Go listen to my August astrology podcast if you want more info on that. So let me know, out of the 11 pathways, which ones inspire you the most? Which ones are you going to take? Which ones are you going to run down? All right. Let me know. Email me. If you haven't written a review of the podcast yet and you listen consistently, go write a review. That's how you can give back. That's how you can say thank you. That's a way you can support me in this channel that supports you. Okay. It really, really helps the podcast. And this is my contribution to humanity. I might have sponsors of the podcast one day. I'm not going to lie. I'm obsessed with health. I might get sponsored by all my favorite products one day and advertise them on the podcast. I don't know. However, it's free right now. And this is my contribution to humanity. And so the way you can say thank you is write a review. So thank you in advance for that. If you want to work with me, if you want to go beyond information to actually living things out, actually creating lasting change in your life, become my client, okay? And see what's possible. You can join Angel Air. This is a private Telegram group, like I mentioned earlier. This is 3 to 5 audio transmissions from me every single week in a private Telegram group. Think private podcast meets group Voxer coaching, okay? With your fellow Earth Angels. We have private breath work for nervous system healing. We have private master classes, and you can cancel anytime. So this is come try it for a month. See if you like it, okay? And if it's not your place, just leave, all right? Zero risk. Zero locking it in. The biggest risk you actually take is not joining when you want to. Okay. And then the other way is one-on-one mentorship. That is, the deepest dive transformation I offer. I am your daily astrologer, daily healer, daily private shaman, high performance expert, habit change maker, Indiana Jones extraordinaire, side by side, riding with you as you change your life. And of course, that includes Angel Air and every single other thing I do. So if you are interested in Angel Air or one-on-one mentorship, go to the link in the show notes and sign up. Sign up today. The first 10 people that join Angel Air actually get a 20-minute reading from me in August 2024 because you're a founding member of this amazing space, and I'm so excited. So yeah, I love you. Go join if you feel the call. Especially if you really want to run down that pathway number 9, where you want to be in a community to up level that's paid. I love you. I believe in you. I believe in a better world. Go out there, make a stranger smile, because it charges the whole field. That will inspire you. That will light your spark. That will bring forth your creativity. Be the change, be the light, be the real you. And I will see you next time on A Better World with Adrienne.